Hey everyone, Coach Brad here. Are you still struggling to achieve the health, energy, and well being that you deserve and desire? If you're ready to end the struggle once and for all, check out my in demand Couch to Healthy 12-week wellness training program. What is Couch to Healthy, you ask? Couch to Healthy is a 12-week wellness transformation program designed to get you off the yo yo cycle once and for all and take back your health, energy, and happiness in a fun, easy, and sustainable manner. With Couch to Healthy, you'll learn how to create a CEO championship mindset for your health, learn healthy eating habits, learn how to exercise using the slow, easy method based on heart rate and age, and more. Be sure and click on the link in the show notes for more information and get it now while the price is still 50% off for a very limited time. In today's episode, we'll be asking the one question: how do you go from surviving to thriving? If you struggle with anything ranging from depression, anxiety, and eating disorder, or something similar, how do you move away from all of this to thriving and living your best life? To learn exactly how this can be done, I am speaking with Greiris Diaz, a young woman who immigrated to the United States as a teenager at 15 years old, not speaking any English, and in what was for her a very strange place, fell into repeated episodes of anxiety, depression, and an eating disorder. Finally, one day, something within her said, "No more of this lifestyle." Thus, the spark for her transformation was ignited. How was she able to climb her way out of anxiety and depression to go on and become a successful transformation coach? And how can you or someone you know do the same thing? Take a listen to find out. And be sure and listen all the way to the end for a special free offer announcement. Greiris Diaz is a woman's transformational coach, writer, and founder of Become Unstoppable, and is now on a mission to help women activate their personal power and ascend to their next level by living a life of purpose. Good morning and welcome everyone again to another episode of the Be Well, Be Safe, Be Happy, Eat Ice Cream podcast. And every time I always say this, but again, I truly mean it. I am just so blessed to be able to do this podcast and have the most wonderful guests in the world today. And today is no exception. I have an incredible young woman with me today. Her name is Greiris Diaz. She's coming to us from Philadelphia, originally from the Dominican Republic. And she has got a story, as I mentioned in the intro, about surviving to thriving. And so, Greiris, welcome to the show. And I hope that I get your name right there.
Yes, you did. Thank you so much for having me. It is my pleasure to be here.
Well, it's actually my pleasure to have you on the show. And I know we were talking a little bit about, how we connected originally in one of the Tony Robbins groups. And I'm always looking for folks that have got something that's compelling and inspiring and who are willing to share. And so that is the case with you. You have got an incredible story and journey. We call it, surviving to thriving. You had some rough spots there. You mentioned depression and an eating disorder and all that. And now you are this incredible young woman that is striving with her own coaching business and everything. So take us back to the beginning a little bit. Where were you and how did you switch and transform from this, surviving to thriving mode that you're in now?
Sure, absolutely. So, as I mentioned, I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic. I came to the United States when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
And sophomore year in high school. I
Wow.
didn't speak English. So coming to a whole new country with your whole family was a huge transition for me. A culture shock.
I bet.
Everything is different. The language, the climate, the diversity, the whole education system and everything, finance system, all of it. And so came to the United States. I was bullied big time in high school because I didn't speak English and I had a
Okay.
horrible accent. So I always feel insecure about having an accent. And it's something that hold me back from truly being out there and really, really showing up for myself and stepping into my power. And going through high school, sophomore, junior, and senior year, it was challenging. It was tough, especially the language was there for me. And so when I finally graduated, that was, I would say 2013. And I
Okay.
got my first job as a customer service assistant for this uniform store that sells uniform.
Okay.
And so my dream job was really to be in the banking system, to be a banker. And so I went through at least 25 different interviews, and every I was rejected big time.
Oh,
I
wow.
was so close to give up, but that was my dream job. So I really wanted to get into banking. So I had an interview with PNC Bank, one of the greatest manager um, at that time. And he was like, yeah, I'm really open to giving an opportunity to be a teller. And I was like, of course, that was like the best state of my life when I got my dream job. I was in banking for at least 4 years from PNC Bank, Citizens Bank. It
Mm-hmm.
was a great training development for me. I really got trained in leadership, customer service experiences, and also to be more comfortable with my accent and learning English and speaking English. At the same time, I was going to college for business administration and finances.
Let me jump in real quick. So was the lack of the language and that whatnot being in a different country, was that contributing to some of the depression you went through and eventually the eating disorder you mentioned, or
Yes,
okay.
absolutely. So it was a whole thing. It was also being bullied at school, coming to a whole new country, and so many changes. I
Yeah.
was struggling with anxiety and depression, and I fell into eating disorder. I was in probably like in one of my darkest places in my life where I was just binge eating, drink a bunch of wine. That was my go-to wine, not
And
favorite wine.
if you don't mind me asking, what age were you when that was going on, or how many years ago was that?
I was 18, 19 years old.
So quite young still, yeah.
Yeah, I was extremely young, but I struggling with social anxiety, and it was so bad that at one point I was like, I don't know what I want to do anymore. I
Oh,
used to wake up crying, go to bed crying, and really feeling
wow.
sorry for myself. I was in that victim space in my life. And so at the end of my banking years, I was still working on, personal development stuff. I used to listen a lot of Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, Lewis Howard, one of my greatest mentors out there. I've Avery, Audrey Marcus, amazing. Um, and so I was still in that. And so in 2018, that's when I was like a turning point in my life. I was like, it's time for me to change. I look at myself in the mirror and I said, that it's it for me. This is it. I'm not willing to continue living my life like this because I know that I'm capable of so much more and I know that I deserve so much more. In that
Was
moment,
was there was there something that set you off when you looked in the mirror that one day, or was it just kind of a aha light bulb type of a moment?
it was like a combination of both. It was like an aha moment, and also I was in a very dysfunctional relationship at that time. At that moment, very emotional abusive relationship, and so we broke up, and it was like an aha moment for me. So I start changing my lifestyle. First, I started with my diet. I became vegetarian, and now I'm vegan 100%.
Wow,
I
okay.
also changed the way that I dressed. I changed my environment. I also started working out. I also started doing research as far as understanding more of who I am, and also what is it, finding like my purpose. In other words, it's just like a soul searching path, hunger. Let's refer to say soul searching hunger. When that kicks in, and it was fascinating. I started meditating, journaling, and healing using the holistic approach to heal my anxiety at the same time, healing myself and healing my past traumas from that relationship. And so it's been still in a journey of, healing in a spiritual journey, but it was challenging at some point, especially at the beginning when everything was different. And I use a lot of different methods, such as the how you say that, the Buddhism. I started meditating. I also started doing plant medicine retreats. I also followed Joe Dispenza guide.
All right.
I
Mm-hmm.
started reading a lot of books and really grounding myself in this work, and yeah, and just really connecting with myself and with my power.
So let me ask you this. If you were speaking with someone, who was in your exact same position that you were, 5, 10 years ago when you were at your lowest, what would you tell that person to shift from, surviving to thriving, the way that you did?
So, first comes awareness. So if you are aware of where you are right now, it's your choice to change and
Mm.
really get to where you want to be, or to be stuck in there. But my, an advice that I would tell you is to just look at your life the way that it is now and ask yourself, am I living the life that I want to live? Am I living my purpose? And it's a choice. If the answer is no, there's an opportunity for you to change that. We will have a choice.
Wow, I just got goosebumps when you said that. Yeah, we do have a choice. And so you were able to choose wisely, I guess, as they say, and you chose to build yourself up, and you completely, I mean, is it fair to say you completely transformed from, like, again, surviving to thriving then?
Yeah, well, I'm still in the thriving, but
Mhm.
absolutely overcame the surviving stage.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that played an important role in my life.
So some of the mentors you mentioned, yeah. Let me go back just a second again. You mentioned and talked about choice. You have a choice, and that's what I was writing down. I'm going to quote you here in my show notes and everything. I'm going to use this quote on some reels and stuff. This is so good. It's your choice if you want to change or not. A lot of people get stuck in that. I know that's exactly what happened with me too. I finally made a choice to change and be healthy, but a lot of people get stuck in that. So I know you're a coach. How do you work people through that phase of getting unstuck and actually making that choice to change and better their life?
So first of all, calm awareness. If they don't know where they are, that it's no way that you're gonna make a change. That is no way that you're gonna empower yourself to achieve where you are right now. So the way that I pretty much, it's a very simple question is, are you happy where you are right now?
Mm.
Are you living your purpose? Did you wake up every day inspired to make a difference in the world?
And if
Did
I
you,
answer no, what would you say?
okay, so we look at what is missing.
Oh,
So, and most of the time is, well, I know I'm not doing what I want, or I'm not happy in the relationship that I am, or I'm not confident enough. I don't feel confident with my body. So it's all in that realm.
and so you've been very skillful and mindful in being able to do that. And one of the things that you mentioned also in your journey was about depression and anxiety. And you mentioned a holistic approach. What can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure, absolutely. What specifically are you looking to a
Like,
holistic approach?
for example, anxiety. Say I come to you, I'm a client, and even as a coach, I'm get anxious and I experience anxiety and even, some panic attacks from time to time. How am I going to pay the rent this month? I only got two clients or, something like that. Those are natural thoughts. So anxiety is a big problem plaguing society. So yeah. So what are some of the methods that you use to help people with that?
Sure. So there is like two different ways. You can either go to the Western Union medicine, or you can just take the holistic approach to anxiety. And so the holistic approach anxiety, it's based on pretty much with the Chinese Asian, which is meditation, journaling, raising your awareness, and really disrupting the pattern, the root cause of your anxiety. So everything at the end of the day, it comes to awareness. And anxiety, it's a learned habit, which means that it's something that you learn in a very young age. That any time you get triggered, your reaction is gonna be anxiety.
Well, anyway, after that technical issue we just had, for anyone listening, apologize for that. But so, Gray Iris, you were talking about, or we were talking about, anxiety and taking a more holistic approach to it with meditation and things of that nature. And I was asking you, how were you able to stay motivated through all this? Because I know motivation is a big key for a lot of people. They'll start something and then the expression we use is, fall off the horse, meaning they lose their motivation. And then they're trying to get back and get that motivation back. So how are you able to, stay motivated throughout all of this?
So when they say when you have a big why, it doesn't matter the how.
Yeah, I'm very
So
familiar with that. Yeah.
motivation doesn't always work. It's discipline and having an accountability partner. So when you're disciplined, really you don't need motivation to make it happen. So how I work with my clients, despite whether they feel like meditating or doing the exercise that they get to do throughout the day, it's not about motivation to do it. It's just about holding them accountable to do the work. That's what really make a difference.
So what became your why then? What's your why? When you have a big enough why, yeah, you can move mountains is how I say that, because I can't remember the way you just said it. But yeah, when you have a big enough why, you can move mountains. So what is your why then?
So, when I was in the path of healing and really learning about myself and my purpose, I discovered that my why and my purpose in life is to help people raise their awareness, to help people become the higher version of themselves. And if that comes through, helping them heal from anxiety or helping them, with mindset work, that's my purpose. And so my why became big. It's always have to be bigger than yourself. If it's not bigger than yourself, most of the time, it's not gonna work. It's gonna fall out, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I see myself as a motivational speaker. I see myself as making an impact in the world, especially, in the mental health community. Mm-hmm. And that became my why. Also, seeing people struggling with anxiety, people around me, people that I love, seeing people struggling with depression, that became my why. It was like, that's my purpose. My purpose is to help this person heal. My purpose is to maybe help that person guide it to the right direction so they can heal themselves.
And how were you able to come up with that? That just, again, was it an awareness that just sort of came to you? And the reason I asked that is because my why just kind of came to me. I call it my first miracle along my journey. But I know a lot of clients have struggled finding their why, and I've struggled to help them find their why. And a lot of clients actually have very, what I call superficial or artificial whys. I want to get down to a certain size to fit into a dress, or something like that. And that lasts for just a couple of weeks or something. But like you just said, when you have a big enough why, you can move mountains. And so did your why just sort of come to you, or how do you help other coaches or other clients find their why?
So my why, I was in a plant medicine retreat in Central America years ago. And in a very profound experience, I discovered that was my why. So prior entering to this ceremony, I asked for clarity, and I saw that crystal clear. And I was like, I had a feeling that it was my why, but now it's certain that it is my why. And
So it's
a lot of the time, your why you start out with what you feel joy, like what do you feel passionate about. We all like to make an impact in others, but that can look like different way. That can, for you, may look like providing the listener tools so they can better themselves, they can heal themselves. For someone else, can look like advising others with their finances. For someone else, can be directing them towards the right direction so they can find connection with their purpose. For other people like myself, can be helping people overcome anxiety and really finding the root cause of it so they can free themselves and have the confidence and fulfillment life that they deserve.
So let's just segue into that really quick. So you have become, you call yourself a transformation coach, or what's the correct?
Transformation coach, it's like a general,
Yeah.
it's very general, specifically in mindset and anxiety.
Mindset and anxiety coach.
Coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so tell us, just for anyone listening, a little bit more about your coaching, what services you offer, and how can somebody get a hold of you?
Absolutely. You can find me on my website, www.highpeakcoaching.com. So that's HIGHPCOACHING.com. My Gmail is high performance coaching _ my personal my personal Instagram is Greiris Diaz. So it's GREIRISDIAC. We offer different services. It's all depend on your needs. For instance, if you I work with different coaches. If you're specifically struggling with anxiety, we curate a program for you specifically, and it's all depend. For instance, you can take 3 months up to 9 months program. And if you're also looking for mindset coaching, for instance, you're looking to find clarity on your career, you're looking to find clarity on your purpose in life, we also curate a program specifically for you as well.
Okay. And I will be sure to put links to all of that in the show notes for today. Greiris, this has been amazing for me. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners that maybe we haven't touched on yet?
I think that we covered pretty much everything. And I mean, one of my message to you is to believe in yourself and just follow your purpose. It's what truly give you life, joy.
Yeah, and that's why you're here, and that's why I'm here, to help more people to connect with that. And as you just said, follow your purpose, follow your joy. And that's a big part of life. I'm tickled pink to meet you, and the fact that you came here as an immigrant and learned English as a second language, which, by the way, I wouldn't know that you speak English as a second language now. I would not have a clue. You speak English better than I do. But anyway, no, it's a true pleasure to meet you and to have you here on the podcast today. And for anyone listening, yes, items like depression and anxiety are very real, very serious. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know if I can call them mental health issues or mental health, I don't know, challenges or whatever the word is. But there is an opportunity for you to change. As Greiris said in the very beginning, it's your choice if you want to change or not. And if you need help, reach out to Greiris. I'll put a link to her website and everything in the show notes. But Greiris, it's been a pleasure having you here today. I so appreciate you being here. And for anyone listening, I say this now, I want to offer you something special. If you've been listening here all the way to the end, as a way to say thank you, I want to give you one of my free wellness programs. And to do that, all you have to do is DM me the word anxiety. That will be the keyword for today's episode. And you will get my free 30-day wellness program to greater happiness. I'll just send it to you. It's worth over $100, just cost as is, but I've put thousands of dollars of research and everything into that program. So it's yours for free just for listening here and for DMing me. I can't even talk now, that keyword anxiety. So Greiris, thank you again so much for being here. And for everyone else, thank you. Please give me a shout out on my my podcast, or excuse me, my podcast page. Yeah, hit the subscribe button. I'm having can't get it out today, but hit the subscribe button. Leave me that 5-star review. I would sure appreciate it. Be sure and follow Greiris at her Instagram as well. Again, I'll leave that in the show notes. And it's always a pleasure. And until next time, this is Coach Brad saying, be well, be safe, be happy, eat ice cream. Take care, everyone. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Take care. Thank you.